We call drug abuse to stop existing, to disappear from the map and let yourself sink into a world of imagination and dreams.
The police minors group carry out periodic roundups of street kids. When they find them, they take them off the streets despite the resistance they put up. The police know most of the kids, who most likely have been picked up on more than one occasion. The kids give false names. There's a case of one boy who used up to 30 different identities.
¿Por qué me enorme? ¿Tú tienes alguien, pariente, algún padre, alguien que se ocupe de ti? No. Déjala, por favor, siempre. Entonces vamos a ir a menores. No. Venga, se acabó.
The boys will be taken to the police station where the same drama is played out every night, with the same questions, the same answers, and the same children. This daily routine has ended up collapsing the police minors group.
We pick them up and take them off to children's homes again and again. But it's a hopeless task. If we manage to reform at least one of the 100 or 110 kids that pass through our hands every month, it would be a great success. But it's hopeless.
The Child Protection Act says that the Catalan government has custody of homeless children. The police take the children to a government children's home. The same law also stipulates that the centres cannot be run like prisons. Running away is the easy way out.
The teacher says, this isn't a prison, it's a centre for your own protection. And the kid looks back and says, for my own protection, I get handcuffed, the police treat me roughly, and if I open my mouth in the police car, I get swiped. And you call that protection? The kids don't understand what's going on.
Ydonis is the name of the emergency centre. It was opened when the problem with the street kids became obvious. The kids are supposed to be there for no longer than a week while their case is looked into. But some are there for up to 2 months because there is no room at long-stay centres. Since the problem came to light in 1997, 400 minors have been through the hands of the Department for the Protection of Children. The Catalan government childcare services have been swamped by the flood of children from North Africa.
والله عندك 17 ولا عندك اقل من 16 شفتاش انا نسقسيك واش عندك 16 بالضبط على خاطر الدراري اللي راهم يجونوا هنايا دائما كيقولوا باللي عندهم اقل
Homeless children, wherever they're from, are the responsibility of the local government and cannot be repatriated. The kids know this and pretend to be younger than they really are. The only way of telling their approximate age is to give them an X-ray. If the kid is a minor, he can be admitted to a children's home. It's virtually impossible to return the kids to their home country on account of the Catalan law for the protection of minors, which makes repatriation very difficult. It's also very difficult to return a child to his family once the family has lost custody, but the Ministry of Justice wants to change this.
We have to find a solution for those who are unwilling to fulfill their duties. We have to find alternative solutions so that these children don't stay here and their respective governments must face up to their responsibilities. But the minors who refuse to cooperate should be repatriated. We cannot just stand by and watch them sink into a life of crime, prostitution and drugs.
Mohammed's X-ray proved that he is 16 years old. The fact that he's a minor means he will go back to the emergency centre until he's sent to one of the children's homes as a permanent place to live. But the kids want to get papers and work and feel they're wasting their time. Many end up running away. For children who are used to doing as they please, the centres are like prisons.
They're not used to living in centres. They're told they have to get up at 8 o'clock to make the bed, to mop the floor. They're simply not used to it, so it seems strange to them.
All the kids, including the youngest, are hell-bent on finding work, getting wages and a residence permit so they can send money home to their families. But things are different in children's homes, where the emphasis is on giving kids emotional support and schooling, not putting them to work. it doesn't meet the kids' expectations.
Marc is one of 3 teachers employed by Barcelona City Council to deal with the street kids. The teachers approach the boys and try to cover their basic needs and convince them to turn to social services, because virtually none of the children are willing to consider returning to Morocco.
Entonces, cuando llegas aquí y ves que no hay posibilidad de quedarse en los centros, ni de trabajo, ni de papeles, ¿por qué no te vuelves?
Porque se queda aquí robando y siempre tiene dinero. En Marruecos no puedes robar. No puedes robar. Si te vas a robar a un tiro, no puedes robar. ¿Sabes? 15 años de cárcel. Directamente, ni 3 días ni nada.
A ver, Yunes, yo te conozco a ti hace tiempo. ¿Eso qué quiere decir que tú... Yo no me lo creo eso, pero bueno. ¿Tú quieres decir que tú has venido a robar? No. Entonces...
Por trabajo, por ganar dinero. De trabajar aquí, no pensamos de robar ni nada. Pensamos, irnos ahí, si alguien... Fuimos al centro trabajar, eso, arreglar papeles, ¿sabes?
¿Por qué no decidí volver a Marruecos?
Porque tienes...
¿Te da vergüenza volver diciendo que te ha ido mal?
Claro, sí. La gente ahí en Marruecos dice que quedarse ahí 2 años y al final no has hecho nada en España, ni en Marruecos ni en España. ¿Para qué quieres eso?
O sea, que os encontráis un poquito atados, ¿no? Son menors.
They're minors, and as such they're innocent victims. They were forced to emigrate and risked their lives in the process. But it's pretty clear no one risks his life to end up stealing wallets in Plaça Catalunya. And I think this is something we mustn't forget.
Problems with street kids have worsened in the city's old quarter. 4 o'clock in the morning is when the muggings reach a peak, one after another, while the police run around in circles. This kid acts alone, and it's pretty clear he's still a greenhorn. Despite a string of failures, he keeps working the same spot the whole night, trying to snatch someone's wallet. Finally, he does.
There are people who have lived their whole lives in Morocco without having stolen a thing. When I arrived here, I saw how other people stole. I said to myself, no way, I'm never going to steal. The first week is rough. You go through the second by borrowing money from friends. When the third week comes around, you can't hold out any longer because you have to pay your friends back what you owe them. So even though you're afraid, you start stealing. Something you never thought you'd do. I never dreamed I'd steal or sell drugs, but that's what I'm doing right now.
The night wears on the Rambla. What appears to be kids horsing around is another mugging. Both minors and adults took part in the robbery. The grown-ups set it up and usually stay on the sidelines, while the youngsters do the dirty work. Most of the grown-ups who set up the muggings arrived here as kids themselves and now exploit the children who are following in their footsteps. Just like in the last mugging, the gang wait for someone who has just come out of Mara Magnum, Barcelona's chic waterfront shopping mall. Foreigners are a favourite target. An adult is the ringleader. When the bald fellow gives the order, the gang attacks the tourist. Finally, they saunter off, leaving their victim in the middle of the street. On one of the side streets, they split the booty.
When a boy robs someone, he usually has no choice on account of his circumstances. There's a chain of command, a hierarchy in which the person in command keeps the money and the credit cards. The kid gets the scraps, like a cell phone, a Walkman, or the victim's jacket.
A lot of the kids are used by these mafias. I know a very young kid who works for them. They give him a backpack full of drugs and he runs errands delivering them wherever they say. The kid likes the job because they give him a lot of money, and the police don't stop him because he's so young and they can't imagine that he's running narcotics. The kid does everything he's told by the mafia.
The mafias also take advantage of the fact that laws are much more lenient on minors, and this is why locking them up in a reformatory prison is very difficult. The police send them to an open children's home even when they know the kids have committed a crime.
The Catalan government is responsible for the care of these kids if there is no adult to play this role. The Justice Department's Child Welfare Department acts as parents in these circumstances. The department is therefore wholly responsible for what the child does.
These minors refuse to accept the care we provide. It's not because they have never been in one of our emergency centres or children's homes. Most of them have been in custody dozens of times. The problem is a complex one and there are no easy answers. It's a very tough situation.
Vosotros sabéis dónde están los problemas, más que nosotros, incluso. Solo con no ir, muchas veces os lo hemos dicho, si estáis en un sitio donde hay problemas, aunque vosotros no los hagáis.
A meeting is held every Friday at CEMI, the specialised care and reception centre for immigrant minors. The teenagers can ask questions and the teachers follow their progress. Local government has had to find makeshift solutions to deal with the situation created by a wave of immigrant children, and CEMI has earned a reputation as a pioneer in the field. But for the moment, only a few kids are fortunate enough to get on with the programme. To be eligible, they have to be over 16, willing to work and with a clean record. Ali fits the bill. He gets given more freedom at CEMI than he would at a children's home.
La soldadura en vertical tiene dos posiciones malas. Una es el texto y otra es la vertical.
You have to make your own way in the world. We give a helping hand and do the groundwork. But he has to do the rest. Get up, go to school, study Spanish and Catalan, attend the course and so on, just like anyone else.
Ali spends the night in a boarding house paid for by the Catalan government. He'll stay there during his 8 months of training. When he qualifies, he'll get help in finding work. 3/4 of the boys who go through CEMI find a job. Ali stands a good chance of making it.
I'll finish my studies in a few months and then I'll spend a holiday in Morocco with my family. After that I'll return here to my job, like a man. With a lot of enthusiasm, I only ask God to give me a hand.
Ali is following in Muad's footsteps. The first thing he did when he started working was to buy a sports car. It's the kind of outward symbol of success which immigrants desperately seek. Muad has a steady job as head of maintenance at a golf course, and one day he hopes to be able to play golf there. Some of his friends are in prison. A few others have grown up without a job or papers and still live on the streets. He has lost contact with the rest. Muad came here to seek a better life and found it. Most of the other street kids have yet to make it.
Did I make a mistake? Well, you might say that. But now things are great, I'm working, I've got a place to live. I have a great life, the way it should be. I suffered a lot, but things worked out right in the end. I think it was all worth it.